Hi everyone, I hope you're all very healthy and keeping yourselves busy during these difficult times. My name is Clari Azout and I'm a certified holistic health counselor. Today I am partnering with CADENA Foundation to talk to you mostly about emotional eating. During these corona times, we are all very stressed and at home most of the time, and food can be the easiest way to make ourselves feel better. This is the reason why we need to find ways to feed our emotions and our feelings with activities that are not food. So I will also give you some useful tips to help you fight your cravings. I'm sure everyone knows what to eat and what not to eat. It's not rocket science. Like we all know that to stay healthy, and on a healthy weight, we need to eat fresh fruits and vegetables, lean animal protein, preferably organic, whole unprocessed grains. We know that sweets and processed foods are bad for us. We know things that like portion control is really important. So what is it that it's keeping us from eating in a healthy way? Well, the reality is that it's not that easy. The hassles of our daily lives make us turn to food for comfort and to suppress or soothe our emotions. We all have negative emotions every now and then, like stress and anger, like fear, like boredom, like sadness, like loneliness. And we usually tend to reach for sweets and junk foods and other unhealthy foods that are comforting. So we end up eating our emotions to try to feel better. But instead, we feel worse, guilty for overeating, and guess what? Our emotions and problems are still there. They do not go away. So it's a vicious cycle, and the cycle will not end until we address our emotional needs. And the cycle goes like this. First, something upsets us. Then, our emotions trigger us to overeat. Then, we eat more than we know we should. And then we beat ourselves up for getting off the track, and we feel guilty, and the cycle begins again. So how do we get back on track? So to break free from the cycle of emotional eating, let's talk first about the difference between physical hunger and emotional hunger. It's really important to be able to tell the difference. So the first difference is that emotional hunger comes suddenly. It feels urgent, and physical hunger comes more gradually. Emotional hunger craves specific comfort foods. So when you're physically hungry, anything sounds good, anything sounds delicious. Like healthy things like vegetables sound good, or anything that they offer you, you will take. With emotional hunger, it's different because when you are emotionally hungry, you crave more junk food or sugary snacks that will provide an instant rush. It's like nothing else will do. Another difference is that emotional hunger often leads to mindless eating. We've heard a lot about what mindfulness is. Well, this is the exact opposite because with emotional hunger, you're eating without even realizing it. It's like you ate a bag of chips or an entire pint of ice cream and you didn't realize you ate all that. So when we eat in response to physical hunger, we're usually more aware of what we're doing. Another difference is that emotional hunger isn't satisfied with a full stomach. You keep wanting more and more until you're so stuffed you feel bad. With physical hunger, you feel satisfied once you're full. Another difference is that emotional hunger is not located in the stomach. You don't feel a growling belly like when you're hungry physically. It's more like a craving that you can't get out of your head. It's like you're focused on one specific food and that is the only food you want. And the last difference is that emotional hunger often leads to guilt, shame, or regret. If you feel guilty after you eat, it's probably because you are not only eating for nutritional reasons. So how do we stop emotional eating? So first, we need to identify our emotional triggers. What are the reasons we are eating this way? Number one, stress. So stress makes us hungry. When we are stressed, our body produces the stress hormone called cortisol. And cortisol craves salty, sweet, and fried foods. These are the kinds of foods that give you quick energy and pleasure. So stress is a big one. Another reason is stuffing emotions. Eating can temporarily silence uncomfortable emotions such as anger, fear, sadness, and all the ones we talked about earlier, shame, resentment. And to avoid these difficult emotions, we numb ourselves with food in the same way that people numb themselves with alcohol or drugs. Another reason is feelings of boredom or emptiness. Have you ever eaten because you don't have anything better to do? Yes, of course. Sometimes we feel empty or sad or unfulfilled, and we use food to distract us and to occupy our time. Childhood habits can carry over in adulthood. And this is really interesting because these are our memories from your childhood. Like, do you remember when your parents would take you out for ice cream after you showed them a report card with good grades, or when you got home from school and you had this delicious chocolate cake waiting for you at home? So eating, it may also be driven by nostalgia and childhood memories. And the last one is social influences. When we eat with other people, it is easy to eat more because the food is there or because everybody else is eating it. And sometimes you're with a group of friends and you're taking care of yourself, or you're on a diet, and everybody's like, oh, come on, YOLO, eat this dessert, or and your circle of friends encourages you to overeat, and it's always easier to go along with the group. So that's another reason. So another way to stop the emotional eating cycle is to keep an emotional eating diary. For me, this is the best way to understand why I eat the way I eat. So after like a while, you will identify patterns behind your emotional eating. So you get this notebook and you call it the food mood diary. And then you get one page and you write what you ate or wanted to eat. Then on the second page, you write what happened that upset you. On the third page, you write how you felt before you ate. On the fourth page, you write what you felt while you were eating. And then on the fifth page, you write how you felt afterwards. And you will see a pattern within a few days. And you'll see things like, for example, that you may reach for a pint of ice cream after having a discussion with your husband or child, or maybe you stress eat when you have a deadline at work, or whatever your triggers are. The next step is to choose healthier ways to feed your emotions. So I really want to emphasize that it is very important to positive self-talk. Take this time to practice self-compassion. You need to forgive yourself when you eat emotionally, or you fall off the wagon, or you make mistakes. Don't beat yourself. Instead, use this opportunity to learn from your mistakes. And remember, we are all humans, and that we are here to learn, and that tomorrow is going to be another day. So if we want to stop emotional eating, it is not enough to understand the cycle of emotional eating or the triggers of emotional eating. Although that's a huge first step, we now need to find alternative ways to fulfill ourselves emotionally that is not eating. So what do you think works for you? So here are some examples I came up with, and I'm going to share them with you. And for example, if you're feeling sad or lonely, you might call a friend that makes you feel better, or play with your dog if you have one, or even look at your favorite picture and remember that time in your life when you were so happy. If you feel anxious, maybe take a walk or dance to your favorite song, or squeeze a stress ball, or do a quick yoga routine or meditation. If you're tired, like if you're exhausted from the day, take a hot bath or treat yourself to hot tea, or maybe light some scented candles around the house. If you feel bored, maybe you can watch a comedy show or read a book or do an activity you enjoy, like playing an instrument or playing a sport. And it's important to know that it's not the emotions that cause us to overeat. We have to look for the root. What is triggering that emotion that is making us go out and eat? So it's very important to face the emotion, to sit with the emotion, to take some deep breaths, to focus on your breaths, and to observe the emotion. You can cry, you can scream, you can punch a bag if you have to, but when we let our emotions out, the healing process begins. And I know it's really hard work, but it allows us the opportunity to get in touch with ourselves and with our feelings. And emotional eating is a habit. We do it automatically. It's like we're on autopilot. And in order to break free from this pattern, we need to interrupt it and replace it with a positive, empowering alternative. For example, instead of going to the refrigerator and getting your ice cream, take 2 glasses of water and take your dog out for a walk. And repetition is the only solution. They say it takes 21 days to break a habit. And it really works. And also, have you heard of neuroplasticity of the brain? It says that we become stronger with the things we do the most. This is why doing something over and over and over again increases its power. It becomes automatic. So practice makes perfect. So I don't want to finish this talk without mentioning that eating a healthy, nutrient-rich diet is very important. When our bodies are depleted from nutrients, they start craving junk foods to store it as fat in order to survive. This is why the diets lead to binge eating and why diets usually don't work. I also suggest other tips to fighting cravings. Tips such as having ready-to-eat healthy snacks in the fridge and pantry, like containers of cut fruit and veggies and hummus and healthy organic cheese, or healthy crackers to dip in cottage cheese or almond butter. I would also carry healthy to-go snacks for when you're not at home. For example, nuts and seeds and healthy bars or fruits and veggies. I would suggest to get rid of all the junk food in your house and postpone the trips to the supermarket if you are feeling hungry or upset. Sleep is very important, at least 7 to 8 hours of sleep a day, because when we are tired, we crave sweets that give us an instant rush of energy. It's our natural way to make us not feel so tired. Eating more foods with fiber is best because they keep you fuller for longer. When you get a craving, try drinking 2 glasses of water. Our bodies confused hunger for thirst many times. So sometimes you find that by eating a glass or 2 of water, your hunger goes away. Also, I suggest a glass of water 30 minutes before a meal. It is also a great way to eat less. The water makes you full. Chew 15 to 30 times before swallowing and eat with chopsticks so that you can eat slowly if you're a fast eater. So I will end by telling you to eat mindfully. Eat with intention and attention. Focus only on your meal when you eat. Use your 5 senses when you eat. Smell and look at the food. Listen to the sound of the food in your mouth. Feel the texture. Don't eat in front of a TV or with your cell phone. You can also create a nice, pleasant atmosphere by adding candles or relaxing music or nice dishware. So I hope you enjoyed this presentation and you hopefully got something out of it. So I wish you all good health and keep safe and see you soon. Bye.